In this strange history of my life, written to explain my unfortunate and extraordinary predicament, my nephew Caligula had gained the throne, but under the imperial burden he was gradually descending into full-blown madness. Would an assassin arise to depose him before he killed us all?
I, Claudius, by Robert Graves. Dramatised by Robin Brooks. Starring Tom Goodman Hill and Samuel Barnett. Episode 5. Claudius.
Caligula had begun to believe he was a god. He wore an olive wreath and a beard of fine gold wires, and carried a jagged piece of electrum in his hand to represent lightning. One day, dressed in this manner, he was on the oration platform in the marketplace in Lyon, making a speech.
I intend shortly to build a city for my occupation on top of the Alps. We gods prefer mountain tops to unhealthy river valleys. From the Alps, I shall have a wide view of my empire. If I see any treason hatching anywhere, I shall give a warning growl of thunder, like so. Who laughed? Who laughed?
I did.
Arrest that man. Bring him to me. Who is he?
I'm a shoemaker from Marseille. Anyone else from Marseille?
Who do you think I am?
A big humbug.
Humbug? Humbug?
I'm only a poor man. This is my first visit to Lyon. I didn't know what to expect. But if anyone at home did what you're doing, it'd be a big humbug.
You poor half-wit! Of course he would be. That's just the difference. Release him.
From Lyon, Caligula marched his legions down to the coast at Boulogne and drew up his army in order of battle on the seafront. Nobody knew what on earth was going to happen. He rode forward into the sea as far as his horse's knees.
Neptune, my old enemy, I challenge you to mortal fight. Try your might on me, if you dare. Ah! Away! You would you? Take that! Sound the general engagement! Advance! Take no prisoners!
The archers shot, the slingers slung, the regular infantry waded into the water up to their armpits and hacked at the little waves, and the cavalry charged on either flank and swam out some way, slashing at the water with their sabres. Neptune made no attempt to defend himself, except that one man was stung by a jellyfish.
Rally the troops! Rally! Men, wipe the blood from your swords and gather the spoil.
Spoil, sir?
Seashells! Each man must collect a helmetful. They will be sent to Rome as proof of our victory. And for your brave deeds today, I will reward each of you with 4 gold pieces.
The troops thought it great fun and enjoyed their holiday. But then we marched up to review the legions on the Rhine, and Caligula's mood changed.
Uncle,
Majesty?
these legions have never been punished for the insult they once paid me by mutinying against my father. I had to come back and restore order for him, although I was only 5.
That's rather long ago, isn't it? After 20-odd years, there can't be many men still serving who were there. You may be the only veteran of that dreadful day, Majesty.
You're right. Perhaps I shall only decimate them.
The legion was ordered to parade and told they might leave their arms behind. The guards' cavalry were also ordered to attend and to bring their lances as well as their swords. I found a sergeant who looked as though he might have fought at Philippi. He was so old and scarred.
Sergeant, do you know who I am?
No, sir, can't say I do, sir. You seem to be an ex-consul, sir.
I am the brother of Germanicus.
Brother, sir? I never knew there was such a person, sir.
I am not a soldier or anyone important, but I've got an important message for you and your fellows.
What's that then, sir?
When you go to this afternoon's assembly, don't leave your swords too far away.
Why's that then, sir, if I may ask?
Because you may need them. But perhaps there will be an attack by Germans. Perhaps by someone else.
Much obliged to you, sir. I'll pass the word around.
The infantry were massed in front of the tribunal platform, flanked by the guards' cavalry who were drawn up, fully armed on either side. Caligula spoke to them threateningly.
Scale mutiny was a disgrace to the Legion. Proud Roman arms were besmirched. A day of shame for which full payment has never been made.
Until they boldly pulled out their swords from under their cloaks.
But, those days are gone. Let us speak of them no more. Your little playfellow grew to manhood and became the mightiest emperor the world has ever known. No foeman dares challenge his unconquerable arms. Dismissed. Off you go. Goodbye now.
And the next day we crossed the Rhine.
I've always wanted to go into battle.
You'd be the first soldier to be carried in a sedan chair, Uncle. Leave soldiering to the young, to those with fire in their veins, like Cassius and me.
Yes, Majesty.
I will complete the task begun by my father and grandfather. I will fight a war with the Germans that will end in their total extermination, eh, Cassius?
Yes, Caesar.
Let's go looking for the enemy, Cassius. Let's assault the tribes with our whole force and kill every man, woman, and child.
Yes, Caesar.
We'll crush them like ants.
Yes, Caesar.
Lots of trees in Germany, aren't there?
Yes, Caesar. When I was marching with Varus, it was at a place very like this that we were ambushed.
Oh, really?
I shall never forget that day as long as I live. I was marching ahead of my company, and we just reached a bend in the road, as it might be the one we're coming to here.
Yes.
When suddenly there was a tremendous war cry, as it might be from that clump of firs yonder, and 300 or 400 spears came whizzing down on us. And so began the slow and painful death of 3 legions.
My mare! Bring up my mare! Clear the road!
Caesar?
A horse! Bring me a horse! I must return to Rome!
Here, sir.
Mount! Mount and ride! Save yourselves! I must seek new conquests elsewhere!
Caesar!
He's gone, then?
Yes, sir.
Caligula did not stop until he was safely back in Rome. There he gave himself an informal triumph over Germany and Neptune. He rewarded the people by showering gold and silver from the palace roof, but mixed in red-hot discs of iron to show them they could not take his divine favor for granted. Charges of treason were now brought against the 20 reputedly wealthiest men in Rome. One was a famous lawyer called Afer.
This inscription is treasonable on 2 further counts.
Caligula delivered his speech against Afer with special care.
7thly, it is a sneer against my youth.
In fact, he was more anxious to outshine Afer in eloquence
And 8thly,
than to
it is
condemn him
reproof
and
of
confiscate his
being
money, and Afer
technically
realized this.
So doing.
Do you, Afer, have anything to say in your defense?
No. Quite unanswerable. I was hoping, but, what a command of language. It was a lesson to me. I had counted on using my oratorical gifts to ameliorate my inexcusable thoughtlessness. But the Emperor has 1,000 times more eloquence than I could ever hope to achieve.
He was condemned to death, but reprieved the next day. The rest were all executed. I was still living with my mistress, Calpurnia, keeping away from the court as much as I could, and I was careful to let Caligula know how poor I was, but I felt my position daily more insecure. One midnight I was wakened by loud knocking.
Who's there? You're wanted at the palace immediately.
Well, what for? Am I going to be killed?
Sorry, sir. My orders are just to fetch you immediately.
If there's a funeral, just do the best you can.
Don't be silly. Here's your cloak.
Calpurnia, the farm's in your name anyway.
You'll be back in an hour. Stop making such a fuss.
My will's in the study. It's all signed and sealed.
Come along, sir.
Goodbye, Calpurnia.
Oh, Claudius, you are a kind, dear man. Give me a kiss.
Come on, sir.
Where are we going?
The Hall of Justice.
Is it just me?
No, sir. 2 others. Ex-Consul Marcus Attius, Ex-Consul Iulius Blsesus.
They're both very wealthy men.
Yes, sir. Here we are, sir.
We were made to sit on chairs on a sort of scaffold. The room was in darkness. The windows were draped with black hangings.
Marcus, Claudius, in the past I have insulted you, but if, as I think, we are in the shadow of death, shall we say farewell as friends?
With all my heart. Farewell, Marcus. Iulius.
Farewell, Claudius.
Suddenly, slaves filed in, carrying lamps, revealing a little stage. And then, behind them, danced a tall, ungainly figure in a silk dress and a crown of roses.
Is that who I think it is?
The rosy-fingered goddess now will roll away the night of stars.
He'd danced about, blowing out the lamps and pulling down the drapes from the window, letting in the dawn.
From where clandestine lovers lie, entangled in sweet passion's toils.
From a bed behind a screen, he pulled out a young man and woman, both naked. The man was a eunuch. The woman was extremely beautiful.
Oh, now of goddesses most fair, I give relief to every care.
As the performance came to an end, I had the sense to prostrate myself. My companions were not slow in following my example. Caligula capered off stage, and we were summoned to breakfast.
Did you like it?
Oh, God of gods! I have never in my life witnessed any dance that gave me such profound spiritual joy as the one I have just witnessed. I have no words for its loveliness.
It was all right, wasn't it?
Sacred Majesty, it is a million pities that so matchless a performance had to be given to so tiny an audience.
Well, that was only a rehearsal. I'm going to do it one night in the amphitheatre for the whole city.
Oh, magnificent.
Pretty girl, wasn't she?
Yes, Majesty.
Would you like to marry her?
Me?
Well, I took a fancy to her, but, you know, it's a funny thing. I'm not so keen on young women anymore. Did you recognise her?
To tell you the truth, Lord, I was only watching you.
She's Barbatus's daughter, Messalina. The old panda didn't utter a word of protest when I asked for her to be sent along to me. What cowards they are.
Yes, Lord God.
Right then. I'll marry you off tomorrow.
Next day, he kept his promise and married us. Calpurnia pretended not to mind.
He only took a tenth of the dowry. The rest is mine. I'll have some money again.
I'm just glad you're alive. I'll go back to the farm and look after things for you there. You won't miss me. Well, now you'll have money. And you'll have to live at the palace again. She's much prettier than I am.
I don't really have any choice.
Well, she's got birth and money as well as looks. You're probably in love with her already.
Calpurnia, you've been my only true friend through everything.
I still can be that, can't I?
But she was right. I was already in love. When a not very clever, not very attractive man of 50 falls in love with a bright and beautiful girl of 15, it is usually a poor lookout for him. But Messalina was so glad to have escaped from Caligula that she behaved in a way which made me quite sure that she loved me as much as I loved her. 3 months after the wedding, she was pregnant by me. The only drawback was that Messalina and I were invited to live at the palace, and we came there at an unfortunate time. A merchant called Bassus had been asking a captain of the palace guard questions about Caligula's daily habits. The captain reported him, and Bassus was arrested.
You inquired about the Emperor's movements at night?
No. Oh, yes.
You said, is it true the Emperor walks about the cloisters when he cannot sleep?
No. Yes!
You said, what time does he do this?
Yes!
You were planning an attempt on the Emperor's life. Why deny it? Who are your associates in this matter?
I have none.
Claudius?
Cassius Chaerea?
What is it?
My lady, the Emperor requests your presence, sir.
Me and the lady Messalina?
Just you.
What's it about? Cassius? What is it?
Yeah, don't worry, my dear. It'll be nothing. You'll have to get used to this sort of thing. It happens all the time. I expect it's nothing, is it, Cassius?
Of course, sir. I can explain as we go.
Thank you.
Bassus wouldn't give any names, so the Emperor got Bassus's father in and showed him what had been done to his son. The father said he would give us the names of the conspirators.
Whose names?
I don't know. The Emperor cleared the room before they talked, but you and I are both summoned.
People will say anything under torture. It's a useless procedure, and those who carry it out are not to be trusted. Who racked Bassus?
I did.
I beg your pardon.
Granted. I'm chosen for all such tasks now.
Why? Cassius Chaerea, why you?
Because I was sent to gather testimony from Quintilia Domitia.
Young Quintilia?
The beautiful Quintilia. That did not save her. Some accusation was made against her, and she was put to the torture. Caligula heard that I wept, so now I'm made to do all such tasks. My nickname is Crybaby.
I'm sorry, Cassius. How much longer can it go on?
For us, if we are on Bassus's father's little list, no time at all.
Sorry, Caesar. Sorry, I came as quick as I could.
Look at him. My uncle Claudius. Wretched creature. Is he fit to be emperor?
Who? Me, divine majesty?
When Bassus had killed me, would you have made this poor stammering cripple your emperor as he planned?
And, majesty?
I am one, and you are many. I am defenseless. Kill me. Go on. Kill me. Put that poor idiot in my place.
We are innocent of any such treacherous thoughts, Caesar. If you disbelieve us, kill us.
Very well. Guards!
Yeah.
Kill them!
Divine majesty!
Wait!
If I might be spared a word.
Yes, uncle.
Mighty Caesar. Cassius Chaerea
told me of the charge brought by Bassus's father.
Yes, and?
Its falsity is evident.
Is it? How?
If Bassus had really been employed by myself and Cassius, would he have needed to question the captain about your movements? Would he not have been able to get that information from us?
Oh. I see. Possibly.
His father has tried to save himself and his son with a clumsy lie.
You may be right. Of course you are. Duh, you may kiss my hand.
Thank you, Caesar.
Cassius, you may have your sword back.
Thank you, Caesar.
Guards! Kill Bassus and his father.
So we cheated death, but for how long? His latest wife, Caesonia, advised him to rule mildly and earn people's love instead of their fear, for she realized how dangerously he was placed. He said he approved her advice and called the Senate together.
Soon I shall grant you all an amnesty, my enemies, and reign with love and peace for 1,000 years. That is the prophecy. But before that golden time comes, heads must roll along the floor of this house and blood spurt up to the beams. A wild 5 minutes that will be.
If the 1,000 years of peace had come first, and then the wild 5 minutes, we should have preferred it. But Caligula was madder every day.
Uncle, there you are. I shall have 3 imperial cities, and Rome won't be one of them. I shall have my city on the Alps, and I shall rebuild Rome at Antioch, because that's where I was born and it deserves the honour, and because it's on the sea. And then I shall have Alexandria, in case the Germans capture the other 2. Alexandria is a very cultivated place.
Yes.
I'm going
Go
slightly thin on top. It's so unfair.
Majesty.
Why have you got all that hair when I'm...
Really?
How dare you go about with a great ugly bush of hair in my presence? Guards! Cut his head off.
No! What are you doing, idiot? The god didn't say head, he said hair.
Did I?
Go and fetch the shears at once.
Yes, maybe I did. Fetch the shears.
Sacred Majesty, may I dedicate the clippings to you?
Yes, excellent. And let's cut off everyone's hair. Everyone in the palace is to have their hair cut off. Off with their hair! Off with their hair!
And he was behaving in a most imprudent way. He went in turn to the guards commander.
I trust you, but the other 2 are plotting against me.
The treasurer, Callistus.
I trust you, but not the other 2.
And the commander of the German bodyguards.
I trust you, Heinrich, but the other 2 are plotting against me. I want you to regard them as my deadliest enemies.
They compared notes, and that is why, when the real plot was formed, they shut their eyes to it. The plot was begun by Cassius Chaerea. He was an old-fashioned soldier, accustomed to blind obedience. Things have to be extraordinarily bad before a man of that stamp can think of plotting against the life of his commander-in-chief. But Cassius did not like his nickname.
What is the watchword today, Majesty?
The watchword, Cassius, is blubberlips. And tomorrow I think we will have boo-hoo. Or possibly kiss me, Sergeant. Let's see. So.
Cassius had decided to kill Caligula. That evening he met Lesbia's husband, who, from something Caligula had let drop, knew he was not likely to live much longer.
What's the watchword for today, Cassius, my friend?
Friend? Cornelius, when will we ever friends?
We should be friends. At times like these.
The watchword is blubberlips. But, friend Cornelius, if you were a friend, and you gave me the watchword liberty, my sword will be at your service.
Lupus is with me. But what about the Germans?
We'll have to take our chances with them.
Caligula's German bodyguard were fanatically loyal to their emperor, and the more bizarre his behavior, the more they worshipped him as a divine and inexplicable being. Cassius was reckless and did not care what happened to him personally, so long as Caligula died. But the others began to wonder what vengeance the Germans would take on the assassins.
The festival's going on for another 3
We swore to
days
kill
now.
it today.
We said the last day.
We made a plan. It's a good plan. We shall stick to it.
But if we wait till the last day...
If you won't come in with me as you swore you would, I'll do it single-handed. But when they come for me, I'll shout, Lupus, Cornelius, why aren't you here as you promised?
Apart from his bodyguard and Caligula himself, almost the only person at the palace who had not by now heard of the plot was poor Claudius. This was because poor Claudius was going to be killed too, in case he made himself emperor and avenged his nephew's death. If only the idiots had taken me into their confidence, this story would have had a very different ending.
Uncle, hurry up and sit down. Where's the lovely Messalina?
Lying down, Majesty, the baby.
All right, do sit down. The dancing has started. I hate people who won't watch the dancing.
Yes, it's sacred, Majesty. No, sorry. Lupus, do you mind if I sit here?
No.
What's the play today?
Giving the tyrant's death.
Oh, jolly good. I haven't seen it for years. It's about King Cinyras, who wouldn't come into the war against Troy.
If you say so.
I hope Mnestor's playing the king. He's on top form. I know the Emperor likes it, but I could happily forego all this prancing about. Get on with the action.
Me too.
I'll kill him where he sits.
What about the Germans? We've got to get him away from them.
He hasn't had anything to eat for a couple of hours.
Come on.
Now what is it?
Majesty, lunch is ready.
Oh, goody. Come along, Uncle. Come and have some lunch.
Cassius, Kyria, how are you?
Well, thank you, Claudius.
Can I smell venison? I'm starving.
Well, don't wait for the Emperor. He is giving orders about this afternoon. You're set to go on.
Very well. I hope he's not going to be long. Hello? Hello? Odd. Where has everyone gone?
Caesar!
Cassius, what do you want?
The watchword, Caesar.
Oh, yes, the watchword. What shall it be? Cornelius, what do you think? Where is everyone? Lupus, what are you doing here? Shall the watchword be sob story?
Shall it be death?
What? Death. Lupus, save me! Death! Oh, Joe!
Granted.
I swore to drink his blood! Enough! He's dead.
Oh, good heavens! Oh, dear, what shall I do? I'm only a historian. What would a historian do? A true historian will always rise, superior to the political disturbances of the day. Sweet heaven, I'll hide in my room!
Kill him! Find the assassins! Come on. Look slippy. Ooh. Every door's got a solid gold knob. That's 6 months' pay. I'll keep cavey. You do the business.
Righto.
Yeah. Hang on.
What?
We got one.
We can get them all in this room.
No. An assassin.
Eh?
Look.
Oh.
Feet. Big feet. Come out of there, assassins. No use hiding now.
Don't kill me, but please don't kill me. I had nothing to do with it.
Who's this? Don't you know this one? This is Germanicus' brother.
I didn't know there was one.
He's an idiot.
Yes, I am.
That's all right, sir. You get up now. We won't hurt you. You better come with us. Wait. Doorknob.
Got to have a new emperor. We need someone for the Germans to kowtow to before they run amok. You know what those buggers are like.
But who?
It doesn't matter. Oh, it can be his bloody horse as far as I'm concerned. Gratis.
Look what we got.
So Claudius.
So it is.
What about him?
You do limp and stammer a bit.
Say, I'd have thought you'd have been dead by now. Let's have you up on the table.
No. Put me down, I said. Please.
Come on, up there. We need someone that'll do for a crown.
Put me down. I don't want to be emperor. I'm a Republican. Long live the Republic.
Long live the emperor.
No, I refuse.
Long live the emperor. Claudius.
No.
Long live the Emperor! Hail Caesar!
Give me a sword.
Here you are, sir.
I want to kill myself.
Oh, no.
Oh, here's his missus.
Claudius, do what they ask.
I don't
For my
know
sake, for our child's sake. They've killed Caesonia, and they took her little girl by the feet and bashed her brains out against the wall. Just do what they ask.
You'll be all right, sir, once you get used to it. It's not a bad life, being emperor. Yeah, look, the laurel wreath.
Stick it on his head. Here come the Germans. Long live the Emperor Claudius. Long live the Emperor.
Long live the Emperor! Hail Caesar!
They prostrated themselves to me, and we were safe for the moment. They carried me out into the great court and paraded me round and round as more and more troops came to pledge their allegiance. What do you think was passing through my mind on this extraordinary occasion? The prophecy of the Sibyl, my father and liberty, my 3 imperial predecessors, the great danger I was still in, my wife and unborn child, my grandmother Livia, and the promise I had given to deify her, poor, lovely, young Camilla. No. What if I was emperor? I'd be able to make people read my books. Good books, too. 35 years hard work in them. It wouldn't be unfair. My history of Carthage has plenty of amusing anecdotes in it. I think they'd enjoy it.
Put me down.
We're going to take you across town to the guards camp.
Keep you safe in case some sod tries to bump you off.
Is that entirely necessary? Could I at least have a sedan chair?
Who's the geezer in the purple?
Seems to know you, sir.
Oh, it's my dear friend, Herod Agrippa. Let him through. He'll know what to do.
Claudius!
Put me down. My dear Herod. For God's sake, get me out of this.
Gently does it, old friend. We're not out of the woods yet. Congratulations, Caesar, on your election. May you long enjoy the great honours that these brave soldiers have bestowed upon you. And may I, Herod Agrippa, have the glory of being your first ally. Claudius, I know what you're thinking. You don't want to be emperor.
No, I don't.
You'd like to yield power to the Senate as soon as these good fellows give you the chance.
Yes, I would.
Don't be a fool.
Why not?
Because it would be the signal for civil war.
No,
You are the only obvious candidate, and you seem to have the army behind you.
No.
And the only alternative is ruin and destruction. Think it over. Romans, you could not have made a better choice. Your new emperor is courageous, generous, learned, and just. You can trust him as much as you trusted his glorious brother Germanicus. Don't let the Senate mess you about. Stick by Claudius, and he'll stick by you.
Herod left me then, and I felt very hopeless. He was the only man who really kept his head through the entire crisis. The soldiers carried me in a sedan chair towards their camp. I sat quite numb.
Messengers from the Senate! Kill us! No, don't do that. Their persons are inviolate. Please, let them through.
Claudius, the Senate would be much obliged by your immediate attendance. They are anxious to learn your intentions.
No, no! Friends, please, allow me. Pray, give my respectful compliments to the Senate and inform them that for the present I am unable to comply with their gracious invitation. I have a prior one. The private soldiers of the palace guard have asked me to enjoy the hospitality of their camp, and it is as much as my life is worth to insult this devoted soldier.
What a wag I knew it!
That's right! Piss off, respected senators! Piss off!
So away we went, and when we reached the camp, I was greeted with greater enthusiasm than ever. I should have liked to have been an eyewitness to the historic meeting of the Senate, which was even then taking place.
We all hated Caligula, and now he's dead and we can breathe again.
Gosh, down there, one thing at a time, please, my lords. One thing at a time. Sentius.
Friends, we are free at last. No longer subject to the madness of a tyrant. We are free. Each emperor has been worse than the last. But we have been cowards. We have been slaves. Let us decree the greatest honours to the tyrannicides. Yes. Welcome Cassius Kyria and his brave associates.
What is the watchword today?
The watchword, brave Cassius, is liberty!
Claudius has been taken to the camp of the Guards Regiment.
His friend Herod Agrippa has been with him and asked leave to address the House.
Let him speak.
Thank you, my lords. As a trusted ally of Rome, I am prepared to speak frankly at this dangerous hour. Monarchy or republic is all the same to me. But I would make one general observation. No one would believe for an instant in any government that cannot count on the loyal support of the armed forces. So, my lords, my question is this. Do you have the army behind you?
Well, the City Watch are loyal to a man. You see their colonels here. We would all enlist ourselves and our households and spend any amount to raise further
My
forces.
dear Asiaticus, what sort of a show do you think you'd make against the guards? I gather they have shown some hesitation in allowing my friend Claudius to attend this house. Perhaps if another delegation was sent, the guards officers might treat it with more respect. I am ready, if you desire, to go with them. I believe I have great influence with my old friend Claudius, and sufficient interest with the officers at the camp to be able to settle matters.
At about 4 o'clock that afternoon, news came to the colonel's mess, where I was eating a very delayed lunch, that a delegation had arrived from the Senate.
We've got a foreign dignitary with them, Colonel. Herod Agrippa.
Bring him in. He's a friend.
Yes, sir.
We'll let the senators wait, I think.
Greetings, noble captains. May I speak with Caesar?
Can't you just call me Claudius?
Well, if you're not Caesar, I don't know who is. My gallant friends, I wish you had all been at the Senate this afternoon. You really would have heard something worth laughing at. They've sent a delegation to ask our Caesar to submit himself to their authority. What do you think of that? Caesar, my advice is stamp on these senatorial worms and watch them wriggle.
Yes, indeed.
Herod, even the powers of an emperor depend constitutionally on the will of the Senate.
Constitutionally? Have it your own way. I bow to your superior authority as an antiquarian. Shall we have them in, Colonel?
Yes, let's.
Claudius.
My lords.
Claudius, on behalf of the Senate, we ask you to do nothing by violence, but to yield to us without further hesitation.
We ask you to remember the dangers we all escaped under the late Emperor. And
I've heard enough. Let's teach them a lesson.
If you would be so kind, the consuls privately gave us another message, in case our first one didn't please you.
Oh, yes. Well, what is that?
Caesar, we were ordered to tell you that if you do want the monarchy, you must accept it as the Senate's gift, and not as the gift of the guards.
Is that it? Is there a third message if I don't like that one?
No, Caesar.
Well, tell the Senate that I don't much blame them for not wanting another emperor, but on the other hand, the Imperial Guards seem to insist.
Yes, I think we do. Yes.
So, where does that leave me? You may carry the Senate my respectful compliments and tell them that I shall do nothing unconstitutional. Is there no use pulling faces, Herod? And that they can trust me not to deceive them. But I must remind them that I am in no position to oppose the wishes of my military advisors.
Thank you, Caesar. Thank you.
You should have stamped on them. Like I said, you're only delaying things. Now, bounty?
Yes.
What do you say to 150 for every guardsman and 500 for the captain?
Yes, good.
Please yourselves, it's only money.
Would 2,000 for the senior officers be sufficient?
Quite sufficient, thank you, Your Majesty.
Make it 10. Why don't you?
Caesar is pleased to be humorous.
We'll need to appoint a new commander of the guard. The previous incumbent was involved in the conspiracy.
Oh, quite right. Caesar?
Yeah, choose whomever you like.
Thank you, Caesar.
When the Senate received my message, they adjourned until midnight. Most of them hurried back home, packed up, and headed for their country estates. The house that met at midnight was very thin and close to panic. Cassius Kyria and the rest of Caligula's killers were there.
The officers of the watch have gone over. They're at the camp, swearing allegiance to Claudius.
Someone must give us an emperor. It's our only hope.
But what about the Republic? I didn't kill Caligula just for a change of face. If you appoint another one, I'll kill him too.
There's no harm in an emperor so long as he's a good one. We were all perfectly happy under Augustus.
Now you're all slaves. You've forgotten how to be free. I can't understand you people. You've been ruled for 4 years by a madman, and now you want to give the government to an idiot.
But he could not persuade the Senate, and all pretense of devotion to the Republican cause vanished. The assassins began to quarrel among themselves.
I'd rather kill myself than swear allegiance to Claudius.
It's not time to talk like that yet, Lupus. And you don't mean it anyway.
Oh, you love your life too well, Cassius. Who struck the first blow?
I did. And I struck from in front, not from behind. What fool doesn't love his own life? I'm not going to lay mine down unnecessarily. Claudius may decide to resign. He must be terrified. Until I know what he's going to do, I prefer to live. Look, they've all gone. All our white senators have buggered off home. Or they've gone to grovel to Claudius. It's absurd for us to fight. Let's go and have some breakfast.
I was about to have my own breakfast when the last of the senators arrived to offer me homage.
They've come early, Caesar. Maybe we should let them wait.
I'm in no mood to receive them. I prefer men who stick to their principles. I'll have my breakfast first, I think.
Very good, Caesar.
I hope you're not going to keep the senators waiting too long. I'd be very sorry if they were all killed by a mutinous soldiery. Where else would you rake up such a marvellously subservient crew?
Herod, this is ridiculous. I'm the only true anti-monarchist left.
But unfortunately forced to act as a monarch.
What shall I do?
Summon the Senate. Give them audience at the palace and deal with the conspirators. My dear friend, what else can you do?
I consulted Herod and Messalina as to what action I should take towards the conspirators. I cannot find it in me blame Cassius for the murder. Caligula invited assassination in 1,000 ways.
It was the injury to his own dignity that forced him to strike.
It was done in cold blood.
His military record is unequalled.
He broke his oath of allegiance.
He sent Lupus to murder you and the Lady Messalina. Lupus just got there too late.
Did he?
If you let them go free, the city will think you are afraid of them.
Cassius, Kyria, you are a brave man and a good soldier. My dear brother once commended you to me as the finest officer under his command. But I swore to protect and revenge his children, and you planned the murder of Gaius Caligula as a matter of personal resentment. I must condemn you to death.
Hail Caesar!
I also gave orders for Lupus's execution, and they were both marched out to their death. It was a cold day.
Lupus, put your cloak back on.
I didn't want to get blood-stained.
What does that matter? A wolf shouldn't complain of the cold. Come on, old wolf. We did our best.
You're to kneel down, please, sir.
Have you done this before, soldier?
I was a butcher in Civvy Street, sir.
That's good. Would you do me a favour?
What's that?
Use my sword. I killed Caligula with this.
Very good, sir.
I took no vengeance on the rest of the conspirators, but Cornelius had sworn that he would rather die than salute me as emperor. He killed himself before Cassius and Lupus's funeral pyre was lighted, and his body was burned with theirs. And so I, Claudius, began my reign.
Caligula had such a beautifully clean start, well-filled treasury, capable advisors, the goodwill of the entire nation. What have I got? Massive debts and an administration in chaos.
You've got me. I'll help you.
Oh, dear Messalina.
Sort it all out. You've got to.
I suppose I must try, but then I'll show them who's got the real Republican principles and not just talk of freedom and democracy. And meanwhile, I'll remain as un-emperor-like as possible.
That shouldn't be too hard.
The Senate tried to load me with honours, which I refused, and they also did everything they could to dishonour Caligula. His statues were removed and melted down, and that produced nearly 1 million gold pieces for my new coinage. Is this some kind of joke?
Claudius.
It's a caricature, surely.
No, dearest.
You mean I look like that?
No one is familiar with their own profile, are they?
A little worried face perched on that long great neck. Is my Adam's apple that enormous? You look like I've got two chins.
It's quite flattering, actually.
Oh, gods. Can you really love a man who looks like that?
There is no face so dear to me in all the world.
Thank heavens I've got you. I can't do all this on my own. I need ministers. Livia trained up her own freedmen. I need men like that. Men like Narcissus. Now, I'm going to use Polybius and Callum and Pallas, Felix. Do you think they could do it?
Yes, of course, they are all very able.
I'm going to make Narcissus, my stand-in, if I'm ill, and
Yes,
so on.
good.
The more I look at this, the more sympathy I feel for Augustus. If I can only get the administration going even half as well as it worked under him, I shall be well satisfied. I am even beginning to feel a sneaking respect for my grandmother, Livia.
She must have had a wonderful mind. I'll be your Livia.
God forbid.
No, but seriously, I can help you with your appointments. I have a good memory for names. I'll be your director of public morals.
That's no joke, dearest. That's real responsibility.
Go through the roll of the senatorial order with me, and I will tell you who's fit to stay on it and who's not.
So we went through it together, and I was astonished at her detailed knowledge of the capacities and characters of the senators. Whenever I checked her facts, I found they were accurate, and we removed about 2/3 of the names on the roll. I kept the promise I had made to my grandmother. I was bound by my word.
My lords, it is not for me to decide whether my grandmother Livia is worthy of national deification. I can only repeat that I swore to her that if ever I became emperor, an event which I admit seemed improbable and absurd, I would do my best to persuade you to raise her to heaven. I would not go so far as to say that my grandmother was without her faults. She was entirely heartless. But how hard she worked. And I really think, my lords, that you should consider the feelings of the divine Augustus. He lacks his consort. I think he should have one, as quick as boiled asparagus.
That was one of Augustus's favourite sayings. So we'd deified Livia, and I hope her spirit was happy, wherever it was. All was fairly quiet in Rome. Money was coming in. Messalina was busy reviewing the roll of Roman citizens. I trusted her so completely I allowed her to use a duplicate seal. Whenever I went out, I was greeted enthusiastically by the mass of people.
3 cheers for the old git! Hail Fatty!
What a fat bastard for us!
Oh, my son!
God bless our newborn nitwits!
I've always wanted to be of some use, to have my talents properly employed.
You waited long enough.
Herod, I swear that before I lay down the crown, I will do the best I can to set this city to rights.
Oh, why not? Make the most of
it. The 2 most important things are... pardon. The 2 most important are...
Some more wine and some more of those delicious sweetmeats.
The reorganization of state finances and the abolition of Caligula's maddest decrees.
We won't be able to do anything without money.
Oh, we haven't got any money.
Borrow some from the gods.
What on earth do you mean?
All your Roman temples are full of votive offerings dedicated by men who simply wished to call attention to themselves. Mm-hmm. Apollo doesn't need 200 gold and silver tripods.
Ah, I see. I suppose.
And you have got to restore public confidence. That'll get money back in circulation. Whenever I'm in debt, I always make a point of spending all the money I have left on good clothes, rings, fine cloaks. That sends my credit up, and I can borrow again.
Dear Herod, you are a man of ideas. I wish I could keep you by me.
Ah, you give me a kingdom to look after, remember?
I always expected you to be king, but if anyone ever told me I'd be your emperor, I'd have called him a madman.
Dear Claudius, you're a fool, as I've always told you, but you have a fool's luck. You'll be
an Olympian god when I'm wandering in the underworld.
Rubbish.
Well, I grant you there's no question which of us is the better man. But that's how it'll be.
I'm going to miss you very much.
Would you like one last little piece of advice? Absolutely free.
Please, let me have it.
My advice to you, old friend, is never trust anyone.
What?
Not your most grateful freedman. Not your most intimate friend. Your dearest child. The wife of your bosom. The ally sworn to you by the most sacred oath. Trust only yourself. And if you can't trust yourself, trust your fool's luck.
Why are you saying this? Don't you trust your wife? Don't you trust your son? Don't you trust me?
Forget I said it. I'm drunk. I'm hopelessly drunk. I say the most extraordinary things when I'm drunk. Whoever said there's truth in wine, he must have been completely pissed.
But the next day, when his carriage rolled away, I wondered what he meant.
In episode 5 of I, Claudius by Robert Graves, dramatised by Robin Brooks, Claudius was played by Tom Goodman Hill, Caligula by Samuel Barnett, Herod by Zubin Vala, and Messalina by Jessica Rain. Calpurnia was Sally Orrock, Cassius Kyria, Jude Aquidike, Gratus, Sam Dale, Cornelius, Ian Batchelor, Bassus, Lloyd Thomas, Asiaticus, Sean Baker, and Lupus, Henry DeVass. Other parts were played by Adil Akhtar and Tony Bell. The music was by David Pickvance. The director was Jonquil Panting.